Well, hello everyone, my name is Elin, and welcome back to another episode of The Wizard of Oz World. I should state, because I don't actually, I think, in many of my videos, that this series, I'm making the world of The Wizard of Oz in Minecraft. As you can see behind me, we have the Witch's Castle. I'm still determining the colour palette. I don't know if that will change, because it kind of blends in too much with the mountains, but that's not what I'm focusing on today. Today I'm going to be making the dark forest that surrounds her castle. Now obviously in the world of the Wizard of Oz, or the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, this dark forest that Dorothy and her friends walk through, it isn't literally next to the witch's castle, but I thought it would be a very nice transition. I thought it would be a very good indicator that you are entering a dark place. So without further ado, let's get to it. If you saw the last episode, you will remember that I did build 2 trees and some shrubs and bushes just to kind of get a feel of what I wanted to go on the floor of the forest. With these trees, I made schematics of them in Litematica, and then I pasted them around in multiple different places. I mirrored them in different ways, I rotated them in different ways, things like that. And please trust the process, this does work. I really just wanted this forest to kind of not feel overgrown and not feel abandoned, but just sort of be dingy and you really do not want to get lost in this forest because you have no idea what is going to be there. Now, it worked better in my head. It worked a lot better in my head. So I had another idea, which was I make a little square of the forest and then paste that around, different rotations, different reflections, stuff like that. So that's what I did. I made a really dense forest. I say really dense. It was fairly dense. I used the trees from earlier. I also made 2 more trees, and I made some custom trees specific for that little square. The wood I'm using is azalea wood from the Pyrite Building Blocks and Dyes mod, and I use some of the azalea stripped wood just to kind of give a little bit extra colour. I then took a schematic of this entire square, or I don't think it's a perfect square, but anyway, I copied it into Litematica and then I again just rotated it, pasted it, flipped it, pasted it. I wanted to make a kind of rounded off area on the side. Not a perfect round off, just because obviously my schematic is rectangular. I really enjoyed doing this, and I think I'm going to go back to some other forests and do this technique because it works so much better than just individually placing the trees. It also, which is fantastic, it also makes patches of more dense trees, because when you place the schematic down, it also obviously places the trees that are in the other trees, if that makes sense. So you get schematics overlapping, which creates such a dense forest, and what I wanted this forest to be was pretty much unwalkable, actually in the game. Of course, in the world you're not supposed to go in the forest, but I do know that people are going to when the download comes out. And speaking of the download, I cannot make this download Bedrock Edition because I'm using Java specific mods. But what I will be doing is I will put the world download on my Patreon. It won't be expensive, and I will also do limited offers of a free download probably. But what I'm going to do is have the world download as a separate sale post product thing. And what I will do, because I don't want to distribute other people's mods for money, that to me sounds scummy, so what I am going to do is I'm just going to put a collection of mods that you will need for this world, such as the block mods and the armor stand mods. Otherwise the world, it literally just will not work. So many blocks will not load in. This forest, you would only have the leaves. You would not have a forest. I'm gonna put those in a little folder mod pack thing just for free on Patreon, so you can download them all if you didn't want to go back and do it individually. Now I really wanted to set the tone that this forest is not well kept whatsoever. So I built little bits here and there of a crumbling wall on the outside. And obviously the witch's windows in her castle are yellow, but yellow just didn't really work with this wall. I did try it. I tried a few different concrete blocks with the chisel mod, but it didn't work because it was kind of too similar to the yellow brick road and it just stood out a bit. So I went with mangrove instead, which is fairly similar to azalea. But with a mangrove, I can use shelf blocks, which I really wanted to, just for a little bit of extra depth. I also made a lot of the area a pale oak biome so that the grass was a different colour and the sky was a different colour if you didn't have shaders on and things like that. But obviously the sky, as you walk along this yellow brick road, the sky gets darker as it gets later into the night because there are command blocks. I also put some candles occasionally on the wall. I lit a few of them, but not many. But I just thought they looked really cool because they're kind of like spikes, but not. I don't know, I thought it was cool. I thought it gave a bit of a hint of, don't come in here, beware. And then the big gate, there is a light behind that middle mangrove shelf, just for, you know, a bit of extra light. And then along the path in the forest itself, I don't think this is actually in the flashback files or in the, in the flashback replay. But I put a lot of firefly bushes kind of right next to the yellow brick road, so when you walk past there is a little bit of ambient magic, if you will. And I also bone mealed and put some coral blocks, not coral blocks but coral fans and stuff like that, just for a little bit more foliage on the floor, because again I really want to set the tone that this is not looked after, it's not well kept, no one really cares what it looks like, no one cares to garden it, basically. There are also occasional black lamps, I think that's from the Pyrite mod, because I wanted it to be a little bit light. If you're playing on a low brightness or your screen isn't that good or you're in a very light room, you might not actually see anything, but I didn't obviously want it to be like super bright, so there are just a few lamps dotted here and there. And again, I don't think it's actually in any flashback replays, but I did extend the field, so it now comes fairly close to the dark forest. And it kind of like tapers out like it does everywhere else. And I will put some more hills and mountains and stuff in the background, but I will not be doing that in this episode. Alright, who wants a walkthrough? Also, I've tried to change my OBS settings, but it keeps telling me it's overloaded, so I'm really sorry if this is framey. I actually don't know what to do. I'm doing my best. Anyway, here is the wheat field that I have extended. I will be fixing all of that. But here is the grand entrance to the dark forest. Now that pressure plate puts the sun in a very lovely place. I also have used some of these chaotic yellow concrete bricks. Not bricks, but they look like bricks. Anyway, I've used it to make bits of shadow because they actually fit perfectly with this mosaic slab. That is a resource pack that makes the blocks that you make out of slabs a different texture, and it does it for all the woods except for pale oak because I have not updated it. But this is so cool. I love this. And then you obviously have like pressure plates at different intervals that make it a bit darker. If anybody knows how to do that without actually having the pressure plate visible, that would be great. I don't want to use tripwire hooks either. I really love how these textures, they are almost identical, just literally by accident. It's fantastic. It's great. I think they look really nice. I think they're in the bright daylight, they're not quite as effective, but when it's a bit darker, they look so good as a little shadow. and the moon in the back. Oh, it's all so nice. And again, this forest is not meant to be traversed. This is obviously a big open place. However, that's because there's a transition there. But if you go like to the depths of it over here, it's very hard to walk around. Like I actually think there are bits that you would get stuck in if you were in survival. What a lovely view. If I had a higher render distance, it would be so nice. But look, you see the castle starting to load in, gets a bit darker. Very nice. I don't know exactly what to put here yet. I don't know if it needs anything. Obviously, again, more mountains probably will be going along the side. I don't know if this needs anything other than like I could literally just place a bunch of like coral just kind of going up to here and then maybe fade out just so there's something a bit extra. Although this area is already very noisy, like visually noisy, so I honestly might just leave it. Also, I need to say this encoding issue in OBS has literally only become a problem in the last few weeks. It's so annoying. Yeah, if anybody has tips for OBS, please share because I don't understand. Either way, these little fireflies are very cool. They're very subtle, there aren't many because I didn't want it to be too, like, jam-packed. But, I mean, that's very pretty. It's like little hints of glitter. This also, as we are looking at the scale of this forest, this also is a good time to remind you that I have channel memberships now. So from £1.99 a month, obviously converted into whatever your currency is, you can become a member. Now, a member will get early access to pretty much all of my videos. Like, I can't see a world where there won't be, unless I really need to get a video out, like, now, and I upload it then rather than scheduling it. You will always get early access to videos. You have badges when you comment, which change, by the way, depending on how long you've been a member, which I think is quite cool. Got one of the little fallen trees here, / bushes. You also will be able to have chat perks during a live stream, I believe, which I will be doing live streams at some point. I'm just not sure exactly when. But yeah, there are other perks, and when you go to the membership sign up tab, you can just click the join button, by the way. It should tell you everything. And of course, I will eventually do things like member exclusive videos and stuff, which probably will include sneak peeks of things like the Emerald City. So I would definitely recommend it. You can see one of the black lamps here. They're quite cool, really. But enough talking. That is the end of this video. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, because if you can't or don't want to support financially with memberships, which is completely fine, I completely understand, we're all in a cost of living crisis, then please watch my videos all the way through, leave likes, leave comments, subscribe, a combination or all of the above or one or whatever you feel like doing. It really, really does help the channel out.